Hello, this is Sophia.
And I'm GaryLeland, and you're listening to episode 108 of the Crypto Cousins podcast.
Feed your interest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies by joining Hall of Fame podcaster GaryLeland on the Crypto Cousins podcast. And remember, we are all cousins in the world of crypto. This week's price of Bitcoin.
$10,133. That's down $688, or 5.7% over the last 7 days. Howdy, 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 howdy. Welcome to the show, everyone. I have a special treat for you this week after BitBlockBoom, or at BitBlockBoom, should I say. There was this little girl running around who, I think she was a sixth grader, and I was so impressed with her Bitcoin knowledge and paying attention that I brought her on the show, and I call her the Bitcoin kid. Sophia, thanks for coming on the show, and I have her dad, Jim, too. Thanks, guys, for coming on the show.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I didn't want to leave you out, Jim, there, but I was more impressed with Sophia than I was with you. Sophia,
No problem.
Tell me about your adventure to BitBlockBoom. Let's start with there. What'd you think of BitBlockBoom?
I thought it was really interesting. I mean, I enjoyed some talks more than others, but I mean, they were all just overall very educational, and I learned a lot about Bitcoin.
Very good. Well, let's back it up a second. Tell us about yourself without giving any personal information, how old you are, what grade you're in, stuff like that, so people know who we're talking to, kind of.
Yeah, so I'm going into sixth grade. I am 11. I'm almost 11 years old.
Good enough. Good enough. And Jim is Sophia's dad. Jim, tell us a little bit how you got Sophia started into this rabbit hole of cryptocurrency. How'd this all start?
Well, as I was falling down the rabbit hole myself, I kind of dragged her along with me. I listened to a lot of podcasts in the car, and she's basically, anytime she's in there with me, she's listening there with me. So we kind of just started talking about it. We got a wallet loaded up on her tablet and kind of went from there.
What wallet are you using, Sophia?
Mycelium at the moment.
One of the things that really impressed me about you, Sophia, and about your daughter, Jim, was my wife. My wife was a fourth grade and a sixth grade school teacher for many years. And she came home Sunday night when I came home. She's like, oh, my gosh, you won't believe what happened. She was working the T-shirt table. This little girl came up looking for a visor and shopped her visor. And then she pulled her Bitcoin wallet and paid for the visor with Bitcoin, with her own Bitcoin. And she was really impressed with that. I mean, she really was. So was I when I heard the story. Was that hard for you to do?
No, I think it's really simple. It's kind of just a few taps and you're done.
There are a lot of people who don't understand crypto and Bitcoin, and they can't even use a wallet. And they wouldn't have any idea. And here you are in the sixth grade, and you're using it, and you said it wasn't much of a problem to do. Do you have any problems figuring out if that visor was $15, $20, whatever it was? Do you have any problem figuring out how to give $20 in Bitcoin?
It took me a while to learn how to do it, and it's still kind of the hardest part of the transaction for me. I'm getting better.
And just for everyone listening, I usually have these questions all scripted out. And this time, this is completely off the fly here. So if my questions are out of order, which they are sometimes even when they're scripted out. So if they're out of order here, or if seem like I'm coming up with them on the fly, I definitely am coming up with them on the fly. We're just really having a conversation because I was so impressed with Sophia and her dad for coming to the event. What was your favorite part of the event, Sophia?
I really liked the blockchain battle. That was really interesting.
Oh.
I kind of always wanted to see a live argument of more supportive of not altcoins and more supportive of Bitcoin, and then in the middle. I really like that part.
And for anyone who's listening who this may be your first episode, let me just back it up some more. Like I said, this is going to be out of order. This weekend, I put on a conference in Dallas called BitBlockBoom. It was a Bitcoin conference. And Sophia and Jim were there. And one of the conferences she's talking about, where we had three people on stage with a host. And one was a Bitcoin maximalist, one was a kind of middle of the road, and one was an altcoiner. And they all debated which was the best coin and what things should be. And you thought that was the best thing, hearing all sides of it.
Uh-huh.
Jim, what was your takeaway from the conference in general?
Well, I thought it was fantastic. If I had to say what my favorite talk was, probably Michael Goldstein's amazing talk on memeing Bitcoin. And I mean, really, it was just being able to hang out with like-minded people and just be able to discuss all these things that I'm always talking with Sophia about. And it was just really fun experience.
I've been to a few conferences, and it's a different conference than I've ever been to because it's a Bitcoin conference. I mean, a lot of them claim to be Bitcoin conferences, but they're just crypto conferences. Where this is, I had to tell someone started talking about altcoins. I heard them said, hey, this is a Bitcoin conference. You can't talk about that here. Next year, we're going to have rules. Announcing on the stage, you can't talk about it. 3 strikes and you have to leave the conference. So we're going to stay very specific on that next year. Now, I met y'all at the Satoshi Nakamoto dinner/barbecue Friday night, which was, I think they had more people at that actually than we did at BitBlockBoom. What y'all think of that dinner?
It was really interesting. I met a lot of new people there, and like they were all just like really interested in Bitcoin. I like talking about Bitcoin.
Do you have any friends, Sophia, that even know what Bitcoin is or deal in Bitcoin?
Well, I told my friend I was going to Dallas, Texas for a Bitcoin conference, and like they said, "Oh, I've heard of that," but that's really like all they've said. Or like I've mentioned it to them, but they were like, I don't know what that is," but I must have mentioned it to them so that they learned a little more about it, but like nothing much.
How do you get your Bitcoin, Sophia? Do you get like some of your allowance in Bitcoin, or are you using apps like Lolly that give you Bitcoin for buying? How are you getting your Bitcoin?
Well, I get an allowance every month. I get some out of that, $8 or something in that range.
Well, actually, keep that up. You're going to have that allowance is really going to grow as this Bitcoin goes up, won't it? So are you most of the part hodling your Bitcoin, or are you waiting for it to go up, or what are you doing? Give me your spiel here. Tell me about it. Don't make me pull all this out of you.
I have not spent any Bitcoin yet.
Okay. Aside from what we spent some at the conference was really the first time we've spent much on for her anyways.
So you're a hodler.
Yeah, I'm a hodler. But my brother, on the other hand, he gets Bitcoin and then it goes to Xbox credits or something like that.
Oh, so you have a son you've been teaching crypto to also, Jim?
Yep, 2 years younger than Sophia, and he's not quite as interested in her about it, I think, but he definitely likes the idea of having some money that he has control over and can spend.
Right. Mm-hmm. So do you find, Jim, have you found this experience by like giving them money or payments in Bitcoin has taught them more value of finances than the normal kid who's 11 years old has? Because I know I had, at 11 years old, I mean, I was out cutting lawns for $1.50 a yard, I think, when I was a kid, and saving that money. But not most of my friends weren't in my neighborhood. They were just hanging out, having a good time, hunting for money, collecting bottles to spend. Mm-hmm. So do you think her education on finances is different than the average kid because of the Bitcoin?
Yeah, I thought it would be a good way to kind of expose her to the idea of managing her own money. I think it's easy to give them cash or whatnot, but then it kind of just ends up getting lost in their room or whatnot. And this way they have it on her. She has it on her tablet. She can spend it. She can see what her balance is. So it's really, I feel like kind of like an empowerment thing where she has more control over her money and she can actually spend it.
So I guess it's kind of like when I was a kid, I had a savings account at the bank, and I would cut 4 or 5 yards a week. And maybe if I was lucky, I'd make $5 or $6 a week. This was in the early 60s. And I'd have it in my book, and I'd write in there, I deposited this money, but I couldn't really watch it. And I couldn't see it go up or down either. It was like, if I had $20 in there and I went the next week, I still had $20. Where in this case, Sophie, you might look today and go, gosh, since we're down, you're going to have less money today.
Yeah.
And you're aware of that already, right?
Uh-huh. Well, the first time it went up, I was like, oh my gosh, I have more money than I did a few minutes ago. Dad, what happened?
Yeah. Whereas a kid, I never could see that. Mine never moved. It stayed at $20 when it got to $20 or whatever it is until when I took it out, it still was worth almost exactly how much I put in there. So there was no excitement or learning experience to it, where by having a Bitcoin wallet, you really are seeing finances take shape by doing it that way. I'm just kind of impressed with the whole idea that a sixth grader is into Bitcoin and actually has a wallet, knows the name of it, and has watched it, and that you knew already it was down and everything like that. Jim, what should people consider from being a parent who's gone through this with a kid? Is there anything that if someone's thinking about setting up their children and teaching them Bitcoin and giving them a wallet that might be something helpful to them that you found out and you say, hey, I wish I'd started this way or did this, or any kind of tips you want to give other parents who may be thinking about doing this and you can save them from figuring out, or is it pretty well just cut and dry, give them some money and give them a wallet?
I mean, I think, approaching it as a educational opportunity from kind of a managing money standpoint is a good way to go. Kids are going to be more interested in spending because they're kids and they like to buy stuff. And I think that's good, but it's also instill the ideas of hodling, of saving. The first wallet we ever installed was actually a Doge wallet. And so I would recommend not wasting your time with that and just going straight to Bitcoin because it's easy. And I mean, we do mostly just on-chain transactions and really haven't felt that fees have been high or anything like that. So there's definitely no reason not to just jump right in and start with Bitcoin right away. Hey,
Sophia, have you seen the book by the Bitcoin rabbi for kids about Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm. Actually, my dad has actually read it to me and my siblings.
So as a kid, I mean, I know a lot of people talk about it that are adults. As a kid, what do you think of that book?
It's like a good kid's book because it's like not too technical and it has like characters that you can follow a little. But it also like it kind of taught me a little bit about Bitcoin, like how Satoshi Nakamoto did it, how he like introduced Bitcoin and then how he disappeared.
So it gave you an understanding of the base or some basic stuff and not trying to make it sound real technical, but it gave you an understanding of the basic background in a easy to consume format. Mm-hmm. Probably be good for a lot of adults too, though. I run into a lot of adults who don't have any idea what's going on. They don't know as much as you do, for sure. Might be good for them also. Anything that you can recommend to parents wanting to get their kids into Bitcoin from the kids' point of view? Your dad's gave his thoughts. Anything you go, hey, this would have been good to know earlier, or anything like that?
Go to Bitrefill and there's a lot of like video game currency that you can buy there.
Okay.
So you get like a gift card for Amazon or something, or your video game console. So then you just put in a code on your TV and you have like some video game credits.
Sounds like a good thing a kid would want to do. Sounds like a good thing to do. So I appreciate you guys coming to BitBlockBoom, first of all. And it was great to meet you, Sophia. I hope I see you again. And Jim, thanks for bringing her down. That kind of made my wife's weekend, meeting Sophia, even if it was a short amount of time. And I heard several people saying something. Did you see that kid over there? There's a kid here who knows what Bitcoin is. So a lot of people were impressed with you, Sophia.
Yeah, I think she won the prize for youngest attendee. So that was...
Yeah, Sophia, you and I should have got a photo together because you may have been the youngest and I may have been the oldest. So so we could show what the spectrum is of ages that this attracts. Yeah. But if you're listening out there, the next BitBlockBoom is going to be, I think, the weekend of August. It's the third weekend in August of 2020. So tickets should go on sale for that probably in a month or two. So we'll be going there. So check out bitblockboom.com if you're interested. Before I leave, is there anything you want to leave everybody here with, Sophia? Tell them before we get out of here that I might have forgot to ask you and you wanted to cover?
Kids, tell your parents to buy Bitcoin and bring you to BitBlockBoom 2020.
Oh, that's a good plug. And that was not solicited. Jim, anything you want to leave us with? That was a pretty good plug there.
I basically agree. I think if you're a parent and you're looking for a great, fun thing to do with your kid in the summer, that's kind of like an educational thing that you can do between school years. It's a great thing to do. I think she got a lot out of it and definitely highly recommend it. It's great exposure to something that's really going to be the future here. So
yeah, I agree.
It's fun.
I agree completely. Well, thanks guys for coming on the show. I do appreciate it very much. And as I said again, it was nice meeting both of y'all. I hope you enjoyed today's show. A big thank you to all the cousins out there that are showing their support by donating, subscribing, and leaving great reviews on iTunes. All of those things help more than you realize. Now, you can subscribe almost anywhere podcasts are available by going to cryptocuzens.com/subscribe. Call me with your comments or questions at 747-777-9471, or you can email me at thecryptocousins@gmail.com, and I'll try to use these on future episodes. Please take a peek at the 4-Minute Crypto Show, which is produced every weekday and located at 4minutecrypto.com. It's the place to get your daily dose of crypto news, and as always, 4 minutes or less. And one last thing, please take a look at my new website, Crypto Crybaby. This website is for the true crypto fan and sells Bitcoin and crypto gear like t-shirts, caps, and so much more. Take a look at CryptoCrybaby.com today. Thanks again for listening. Love you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Crypto Cousins podcast. Please share the show with your friends. They can subscribe by going to cryptocousins.com/subscribe. And if you want to know more about Gary, just go to GaryLeland.com. Make sure and join Gary and all the Crypto Cousins every week for a new episode of the Crypto Cousins podcast. The Crypto Cousins podcast and the information included in the podcast are not intended as investment advice. Investing in any cryptocurrency is risky, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Always seek professional advice before investing in any cryptocurrency. Please understand, you are using any and all information from the Crypto Cousins at your own risk.